Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, there's so much talk about Nancy Pelosi being such an incredibly skilled and talented and calculated politician. You know, people especially on the left go on singing praise when it comes to Nancy Pelosi, as if she's just such an incredible human being and leader. But right now, folks, Nancy Pelosi is one of the biggest disasters out there. I mean, Democrat strategists, are you guys paying attention? Get this woman off the damn TV. She is ruining you guys. I mean, normally Nancy Pelosi's a laughingstock outside of her little Democrat circle with her very strong vote blue no matter who Democrat supporters. But man, Nancy Pelosi's coping, Nancy Pelosi's most recent news appearances take it to a whole other level. I mean, it's frankly just laughable. You guys got to take a look at what she's saying. Of course, we got to talk about it. It's all 2022 midterm cope. So let's listen to what she has to say and then let's hit back with a little dose of, well, reality. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. So the Democrats, in their desperate attempt to turn this whole thing around, their final endgame strategy here in the last stretch of the election is to deploy Nancy Pelosi to do various different media interviews. And it really hasn't been a good look, because all we're seeing with Nancy Pelosi is desperation, nervousness, and most importantly, denial and delusion. The new Democrat strategy just seems to be deny, deny, deny. Ignore basic facts and pretend they don't exist. Cover your ears, close your eyes, and yell la 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 la, blocking out the real world and speaking your truth into existence.
You've heard our CBS estimates have the Republicans taking the House with 224 seats. How do you shift the momentum?
Well, let's just say, first and foremost, good morning. It's Sunday morning.
Why don't the American people, according to the surveys, trust Democrats, but instead trust Republicans?
Well, let me just say you talked about what you perceive to be a change in momentum. Let me just tell you what I have seen over this past month. I don't subscribe to what you said, that they don't trust us. Well, first of all, let me say that I think that much of what you've said I don't agree with. That is to say, the New York Times poll, I think, is an outlier poll.
Now, I thought it was our job to question the legitimacy of polling data. All of a sudden, the polls are wrong, but not in underestimating Republican support. In underestimating Democrat support, Nancy Pelosi continues to cope. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Democrats, but that's not how that works. You don't just get to say things and invent things, and then they miraculously come true. You don't get to speak things into existence. What we are seeing here is peak denial. This is the most desperate I've ever seen Nancy Pelosi. She is so desperately trying to flip the script. She's so desperately trying to change things. And while she thinks she's being slick, she's looking terrible out there. And she's making Democrats, of course, by extension, look even worse. I mean, some of the things that she's saying are just downright ridiculous. Take a look at what she had to say when confronted on the issue of inflation.
And the fact is that when I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. Yes. The EU, the European Union, the UK, the British have higher inflation rate than we do here. The fight is not about inflation, it's about the cost of living.
When it comes to inflation, we have to change the subject. Yeah, you know, the most important thing headed into the 2022 midterms. We need to make the election about something else. Excuse me, but no, then going on to cope that it's a worldwide phenomenon. Then she proceeds to only mention Western liberal globalist nations as a total cop-out. But of course, we've tackled this talking point before. That's not a defense. Joe Biden and the rest of these left-wing globalist Western nations are all the same. They're all the same evil. They're all the same incompetent. It's not exactly the defense that you think it is. Oh, but it's slightly worse in the UK than it is here. I haven't even checked the numbers to verify that statement, but that's not an argument. Yes, the UK government is just as dumb as you are. That's not the defense that you think it is. She then goes on to say that the issue isn't inflation, it's cost of living. I mean, what? That's literally the same thing. She is in such denial, she's trying to convince herself and of course convince the viewer that inflation, the economy, and crime aren't the top issues, and that, I don't know, the top issue should be abortion or something. But we know for a fact that abortion is not the top issue right now. And you know how I definitely know that? Because even the Democrats are using inflation as a justification to defend their abortion stances.
I just asked you, you're running for governor of Georgia. I would assume, maybe incorrectly, But while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What can a governor, what could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations.
Now, if you have to use inflation to make an argument as to why you should support on-demand, no-restriction abortion, well then yeah, inflation is definitely the top issue. That's pretty much undeniable. No matter how much Nancy Pelosi tries to change it, inflation is the issue. No matter how much they try to justify, how much they try to spin, it just continues to dig the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. Like when Nancy Pelosi was asked this.
But on things like sending, those $1,400 checks, putting cash out there.
That's right.
I mean, didn't that end up contributing to inflation? Do you have any regrets about the bills you passed and how you structured them?
No, absolutely not, because that was necessary for people to survive. Our purpose
was that it was inflationary.
But the point is that when you reduce unemployment, it's inflationary. That is a fact.
They refuse to tackle the issue. They refuse to accept any responsibility or culpability whatsoever. They are in utter denial, actually, from the clip that I showed you guys earlier when Nancy Pelosi was asked this.
Why don't the American people, according to the surveys, trust Democrats, but instead trust Republicans?
It's not a mystery why people trust Republicans more on the issue of inflation than Democrats. Because Democrats are not logical. Nancy Pelosi just goes, oh, the families. Oh, it was necessary. Oh, the children. They don't think about fiscal responsibility of what can we afford? Should we do this? Is this inflationary? Can we pay for this bill? They just view government as a money printing, money laundering scheme. And so is it any surprise that people trust Republicans who want to turn off the money printer, who don't want to run this massive deficit, who want to cut back on spending and cut back on taxes? Is it any surprise that people trust Republicans more than Democrats? The simple answer is no, it's not surprising. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to accept the basic reality that Democrats are tanking, and her strategy is just to double down and deny and deny and deny. But folks, this is the reality. All of these polls were conducted in October, as Interactive Poll states. The numbers are undeniable, and Nancy Pelosi is picking the strategy of denying. She's picking the strategy of denying that inflation and crime are issues that Democrats need to take seriously. She's pushing it off to the side and claiming that it's not a real issue, since it's happening across the Western world, since it's a global phenomenon. Well, you don't need to be a genius to figure out that that's an absolutely idiotic strategy, and so this idea that I keep seeing bounced all over the place that Nancy Pelosi is some strategic political genius, well, that has to be some sort of joke, because if I was a Democrat strategist and I was seeing these Nancy Pelosi interviews, I would be yelling in the back room, get her off stage immediately. But of course, we know exactly what this is. It's what we always call it. It's increased desperation. They know they're gonna lose. They know they're on track to lose. The panic is settling in, and they're just flailing and struggling to stay afloat. Not a good look, Nancy. You might want to just take a seat. Go join Hillary Clinton in the cave that she dwells or something. Your time is up. That's what I got for you guys, though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.